Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to this week's What's on My Plate. I know it's been a while, but we're back. So, for this week, we'll be talking about post traumatic stress and also be making some guacamole. So, for our first activity, before we get into this hard hitting topic, I would like us to, learn how to relax and take a moment to get in tune with our body and our breathing and ourselves. So, in your kits this week, y'all go ahead and open that up. You see a paper, and it should say exploring 15-minute guided meditation. All right. So right now we're going to meditate and get in tune with ourselves. So if you're just joining us, this week we're talking about post-traumatic stress, and our first activity will be getting in tune with ourselves, our body, our breathing, and just getting really in tune and know how that feels. So, our first activity, we're going to be meditating. So, I'll like everybody to get into a comfy position and close your eyes. And as you close your eyes, I'm going to talk you through this meditation, and we're going to take a moment to really get in tune with ourselves and be at peace, at calm, and also in the moment and in the now. So please close your eyes, get comfy, and we're going to get right into it. So the first place to start is with spending a short period of time in a relaxed way on your posture. We begin in our seats. The point about our seat and our legs is it just has a base to be supported, but nothing special about it. If you're in a chair, make sure the bottoms of your feet are touching the ground. If you're on a cushion, legs can be simply crossed in front of you, or they can be in the lotus position or half lotus position. The upper body is upright but not stiff. Our hands can rest on our thighs in front of us with our upper arms parallel to our bodies. Our eyes can be open or closed, and our gaze is slightly down. Just a slight feeling of humbleness about that. And with the gaze down, we're slightly focused inwards. Our mouth can be just slightly opened or closed. This, that's a practice in itself. Just take the time, take the luxury to establish your posture. So I'm going to give you all a moment to get in tune with your posture. So those of you who are joining us, we're talking about post-traumatic stress, and our first activity, we're meditating to get in tune with ourselves and be relaxed and be in the present and the now. I'm just giving everybody a moment to get in tune with their posture as I just went over that. And give about a minute to get in tune with your posture, to get comfy, then I'll move on. And again, if you have any bodily issues, you just need to make adjustments for those issues so you feel as comfortable as possible. Now, I want everybody to notice their breathing. Simply pay attention to your breathing. Now we pay attention to the breathing as it comes in and goes out. The nice thing about the breath is that it's always reliable. It's always going to be there if we're alive. It's a very simple type of faith or trust that something is going to continue to be there. As you find yourself lost in thought, and you notice that because you have trust in your breathing, you know that it will always be there when you bounce off that thought and come back to your breath. And this time, I'm gonna give you 2 minutes to focus on your breathing now. Again, if y'all are joining us, we're talking about post-traumatic stress this week. Right now, we're focusing on meditation, being relaxed in the moment, in the present. Right now, we're focusing on our breathing, and there's about 1 minute left to focus on your breathing. Pay attention to your body and breathing together. As we come back to notice our breath, we're also noticing our body. So it's kind of a whole body experience. Resting our attention on the breathing, we can also feel the temperature in the room and appreciate our ability to sense the world. That we are a sensory mechanism. The world touches us. We have an interplay going on with the world. There's something we can appreciate. Pleasure and pain come from that seeing, sensing of the world. For a little while, practice returning to the breathing when your mind wanders. We're taking time to be present and to develop presence. Presence meaning ability to be present or for whatever comes up or down. Could be very intense thoughts, like how did the world begin? Why are we still driving so many cars? Who invented the car anyway? How do cars work? Can be cognitive, random thoughts just like that. Or it could be intense emotional thoughts. Emotional thoughts carry with them a lot of color and a lot of energy and a lot of feeling of movement in the body. I hate that. I love that. Lots of feeling, tone to these thoughts. They can be persistent. They can keep coming up no matter how many times we go back to our breathing. Or thoughts could be just as a simple sensation as an itch in your toe. Mindfulness is an equal opportunity process. Whatever comes up, we just notice it and come back. If it comes up again in another shape or form, you know to sit and come back. There's a certain amount of simplicity and dullness about that. But over time, that dullness becomes natural relaxation. There's a simple feeling of strength that comes from being able to be present with whatever arises and not being so inclined to run from it. Some people like to use the slogan, the present is pleasant, but that's not really true necessarily. The present can contain whatever is present in that moment. If a family member is ill and passed away, it's not going to be a particularly pleasant moment. Taking a moment to meditate will always be about being with that, not trying not trying to create a pleasant experience for yourself. Usually, we are trying to get something out of an experience. In this case, with meditation, we are just trying to be with the moment rather than trying to get something out of it. And again, I'm going to give you a minute to sit with that. Again, if you're joining us right now, we're meditating, taking deep breaths in and out, being present in the now. As we notice thoughts again and again in this meditation practice, the thoughts being to have less solid substance, the thoughts begin to have less solid substance to them. They feel less like something we have to fight with. We can have an appreciation that are not facts, they're just formulations that emerge in the mind, and that beneath them is some kind of presence and awareness that continues. Whatever thoughts may arise and dwell for a while, and then they're gone. So I'd like to welcome you guys back to the present. Our first activity and meditation is now over. So I'm gonna take a quick little break to wash my hands, and we're gonna get into making some guacamole. Be right back, guys. Alright, so now that my hands are washed, we're gonna go in our kits and start making some guacamole. So in your kits that you picked up from Frontlines at our new location, you should have some avocados, some tomatoes, garlic, salt, chili powder. This is a substitute for cumin or cayenne. And this is paprika, sorry, and this is chili powder. So we're using chili powder and paprika as substitute for cumin and cayenne. And we also have a lime. So give me a second, guys. All right. So we're gonna start by chopping our tomatoes. So we're gonna chop up both our tomatoes. Start by cutting off the ends. And just gonna dice these up nice and fine. Now we're going to cut the next one. Okay, so now that our tomatoes are done, we're going to take our garlic. I'm not going to use all of it. The least amount you want to use is a clove, but I really like garlic, so I'm going to use 3 cloves. So that's 1. Oops. Just want to cut up the ends to peel these. rip off the end, squish, and the skin comes right off, guys. And you just want to chop these up nice and just like that. Another one. And one more. Just clean out some of this garlic. Okay, so we got our garlic and the tomatoes all cut up. We're gonna move this out the way. Now we are gonna deal with our avocados. So to open an avocado, we're gonna start making a slice and going around, all the way around, and move back up. Voila. Ta-da. I don't know if you guys seen that. I'm gonna do it again. So you cut it open. And what we're gonna do, since we cut it open, we're gonna get a spoon. Give me a second here, guys. So we're getting a spoon. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna scoop out, we're gonna scoop out the inside into the bowl, okay? Just gonna scoop it out into the bowl. And try to get as much as the flesh as you can. The more flesh you get, the more guac you make. And if you see it, I just like to do that. Oops. Twist. Oops. The seats is right, so forget that. Just gonna scoop it out. Make sure you guys take out the seed too, because the seed's not edible. So make sure you guys take that out. So that's one. We got two more to go. So just gonna slice it like that. Scoop it out. So we got one more. One. And any imperfections you see, you just cut them right off before you put it into the bowl. That's what I just did. See? Okay. So now we got all 3 avocados. We got the pulp in the bowl. Now that we got the pulp, actually, I'm going to rinse my hands off quickly and I'll be right back. And I'm back. All right. So now we're going to juice our lime. So to get the most juice out of a lime, you'd want to put it in the microwave for about 10 seconds until it's a little warm. And then what you're going to do is put it on a flat surface, put some pressure and roll it. And this is going to break up the fibers on the inside and release the juice. Roll it, roll it, roll it, back and forth. All right. So now we're gonna juice the lime, and once we cut it in half, we're gonna squeeze all the juice out onto our avocado pulp. Okay. So we have a bowl of pulp. We have our lime. We rolled it, got the juice, nice and flowing. So, oh, this knife actually is horrible. Okay, give me a second. I'm gonna go get another knife because this. Okay, back with another knife to cut this line in half. And what we're gonna do is squeeze all the juice onto our avocado pulp. So both halves. Take this and squeeze. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. So that's one half. Got another half. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. So I'm going to rinse my hands off again. Okay, so now we got our lime juice squeezed onto our avocados. We're just going to toss our avocados to make sure it's all fully coated. So I'm going to make sure all the avocados are coated in the lime juice. Okay, so you just mix it around. A second here. Yeah, so you mix it around, mix it around. So in your bowl, there's going to be a lot of extra juice. So what we're going to do is strain off that excess juice into another bowl. For as much as you can. So we strained the lime juice, strained our lime juice from our pulp. So now what we're going to do is use a potato masher, but before we get to mashing our avocados and turn it into guacamole, we're going to add our spices. Okay? So we're going to be adding some salt, about half a teaspoon. Actually, a little bit more salt. About half a tablespoon of our paprika, and half a tablespoon of our chili powder. So we're going to take our masher now, and we're going to start mashing things up. Just want to start squishing it up. If you don't have a masher, you can use a spoon, a fork, honestly, whatever you want. Just start squishing. And you want it nice and smooth, so just keep on squishing. So I know it looks like I've been mashing for a minute, but I still got some chunks in mine. So I'm just going to keep on squishing until there's no chunks left. I still got a few more chunks. So you could do this to the consistency you want. I like my guac as smooth as possible. Okay, so that's good enough for me. Just have to do it for little chunks. Okay, so now that we have, oops, so now that we have our avocado seasoned and mashed, we are gonna add in our tomatoes and our garlic. Add in your tomatoes and garlic. And you're also gonna wanna add in the lemon juice that you strained from your avocados. Add it right back in. So we got everything nice and lovely in the bowl again. And we're just gonna fold everything in. Let's fold it in. Just give it a nice stir. Everything incorporated together. And voila, we got our guac. Now, give me a second to clean up, and then we'll get right back into our last activity, which is our discussion. Okay, so I don't have any chips with me, but I'm gonna try this guac. Mm, it's actually really good. Amazing. So while you guys are enjoying your guac at home, we're gonna get into the discussion part of our program today. So, like I said at the beginning, our topic today is post-traumatic stress. So if you guys want to chime in, ask me any questions about it, go ahead. Comments are open. So then I'll be giving you guys facts and a breakdown of what PTSD post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD for short, is, and what causes it and why it happens. So people of any age, kids, teens, and adults, can develop PTSD, but not everyone who lives through a serious traumatic experience develops it. In fact, most people do not. Many people recover from, from life-threatening traumas without developing PTSD. This ability to cope and bounce back is called resilience. Everything from one's belief in his or her ability to overcome problems to the type of hormones a person's body makes may play a role in them coping with stress. Someone who can cope better is more resilient and likely to recover quickly, while someone who is less resilient may be more likely to develop PTSD. The circumstances of a traumatic event also can affect someone's reaction. National disasters like terrorist attacks, mass shootings, major hurricanes or tornadoes, community violence can make a person feel anxious, even if they weren't directly affected by it. In some cases, seeing images of those events on TV, social media, can lead to symptoms such as post-traumatic stress. So PTSD is a set of symptoms. You may feel jittery, have sleeping problems, trouble concentrating, that develop after you've experienced something harmful, terrifying, or upsetting. Any kind of extreme stress can lead to PTSD. It often develops after a direct experience in which someone is seriously injured or threatened with injury or death. So either you're seriously injured or you were threatened with injury or you were threatened by death, like you could have died in the experience. It can also happen to people who have witnessed stressful events. And then the witness part can be in real life or online or on TV. So you even just watching such a traumatic event on, you don't even have to be there in person. You could watch it through a screen and still experience the stress from it. It can also happen to, people who witness stressful events or learn about unexpected or violent death or injury to a family member or close friend. So again, PTSD can develop after a very stressful, frightening, or distressing event, or after a prolonged traumatic experience. Types of events that can lead to PTSD can include serious accidents, physical or sexual assault, abuse including childhood or domestic abuse, exposure to traumatic events at work, including remote exposure. So if you're in the military or somewhere where you could be seriously hurt while you're working, if you're working a dangerous job. Serious health problems such as being admitted to intensive care, childbirth experience such as losing a baby, war, conflict, even torture. PTSD develops in about 1 in 3 people who experience severe trauma. So not everybody that experiences or witnesses a trauma will develop PTSD. It's about 1 in 3. So now I leave it open to any questions from my beautiful and lovely audience. If there's any questions, I'm gonna stick around a bit. If there's any questions, y'all just put it in the box. Other than that, I'd like to thank you guys for joining me this week. It was a blast. I hope you guys had as much fun as I did. And those of you that are leaving, I'll see you next week. Take care, guys. But I'll be here for any questions. If y'all want to ask some questions in the chat, I'll still be here. You may not see me, but I'm here. I'll answer in the chat. Take care, everybody. Have a good evening.